From the shocking win of the 8th-seeded Miami Heat to the amazing comeback of the Clippers, these are some of the biggest upsets in NBA playoff history. The NBA playoffs are a time of excitement, anticipation, and nail-biting moments. With each passing game, the stakes get higher and the pressure becomes so tense for players and coaches. Over the years, we've seen some truly wild things happen on the court, like the legendary Michael Jordan's game-winning shot against the Cavaliers in 1989, or LeBron James' legendary block on Andre Iguodala during Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals. But amidst the high-intensity matchups, there's always the possibility of an upset, a team defying the odds and triumphing over a seemingly unbeatable opponent, or choking at the last moment, giving up the W. These upsets are something the fans will never forget. Maybe because of a lost bet, or maybe it's watching the underdog win through sheer hard work and determination. Whatever it is, we are taking a look at some of those upsetting moments. The most recent being the 8th-seeded Miami Heat, absolutely destroying the 1st-seeded Milwaukee Bucks. Not to mention the Heat were a play-in team. The audacity. This has not happened since the 2012 NBA playoffs. The Philadelphia 76ers took down the top-seeded Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Conference. Things are already heating up with the Heat. The Bucks, who had home court advantage throughout the playoffs, were the favorites to win their 3rd NBA title. But the Heat had other plans, especially Jimmy Butler. Or should we call him Himmy Butler, because he was that guy in this 5-game series? The Heat capitalized on Giannis Antetokounmpo's injury in Game 1, ending the game 130-117. Butler had a stunning 35 points and 11 assists. The Bucks won Game 2 without Antetokounmpo, but that didn't stop Butler from going crazy. With the match ending 122-138, Butler was still able to rack up 25 points. After a hard fall in Game 3, Butler still dominated with 30 points, paving the way towards victory, ending the game 121-99. Skipping Game 4, which ends in a close 119-112 victory for the Heat.
Kumbo lost the ball, it's loose, Miami's gonna win it! Miami has won it! And goes up 3-1.
Game 5 was spectacular. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Jimmy Butler facing off in a nail-biting match, entering overtime as each team refuses to lose. Just look at the shot Butler made to get into overtime with 2 seconds left. The Heat used the overtime perfectly because they won, causing one of the biggest upsets as of late. Jimmy Butler showed he was an extraordinary playmaker who led the Heat to one of the most stunning first-round playoff upsets in NBA history. With Butler making 42 points and Antetokounmpo making 38 points, these two players had an incredible showdown. I just control what I can control in the end. Play basketball the right way, no matter who's out there on the floor on my team or the opposing team, Butler said. Stay aggressive. Make sure my guys get their shots, as I'm supposed to defend and do whatever it takes to get my team to win. Spoken like a true team player. But this isn't the first time an 8th seed has beaten a 1st seed. As previously mentioned, the 76ers beat the Bulls in 2012. After years of training, the Bulls were finally about to be contenders for the first time since Michael Jordan's retirement. The star player is leading the way, Derrick Rose. Rose helped the Bulls make it to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2011 and earned the #1 seed in the East. Unfortunately for the Bulls, Rose tore his ACL in the last minutes of Game 1 of the Bulls' first-round series against the 76ers. They still won that game, but they couldn't hang in there after that. They bowed out in 6 games and never reached those heights again. Truly unlucky, but not as unlucky as the Dallas Mavericks in 2007. The Dallas Mavericks won 67 games in 2007, which was the best record in the league by 6 games. They are still tied for the 7th best regular season record of all time. During the regular season, the Golden State Warriors handed the Mavs 2 of their biggest losses. So you could say that this match was personal. Baron Davis had it out for the Mavs. The Warriors won Game 1 on the road, then took all of their home games and they made it look like a cakewalk. 3 of their 4 wins were by double digits, including a 25-point blowout in Game 6. The crowd went wild, cheering "We Believe."
Davis.
"We Believe" became the Warriors' slogan for the last 2 months of the season and the playoffs. There have been plenty of surprising underdog wins, but when have teams choked? I think we can agree when I say the 2015 to 2016 Golden State Warriors game was one of the biggest throws in NBA playoff history. In 2016, the Cleveland Cavaliers faced the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. The The Warriors had won 73 games in the regular season, probably the most ever by a team in NBA history. They were led by Steph Curry, who had won the MVP award unanimously. The Cavaliers, on the other hand, had never won an NBA championship and was led by LeBron James, who was trying to bring a title to his hometown. The Warriors took a 3-1 lead in the series, and it looked like they would win the championship. But the Cavaliers stepped up. The Cavaliers won 3 straight games to win the championship. But what makes this such a choke? One of the greatest offensive teams in history failed to get a single point in the final 4:39 of a finals deciding game. At the time, they were the only team to forfeit a 3-1 lead in the finals, but the Cavs weren't the only team to get a reverse sweep. In 2012, OKC had the opportunity to move on to the finals after beating the Spurs 2-4. Tony Parker was slicing the disoriented Thunder defense. Tim Duncan was hitting a pick-and-pop 18-footer. There was no way the Spurs were going to lose. But the Thunder star trio of Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden decided to step it up. After falling behind 2-0 in the series, the Thunder rallied to win 4 straight games, including a dramatic comeback in Game 6. Durant had 34 points and 14 rebounds. Russell Westbrook added 25 points for the Thunder. Durant got his wish of not being taken out of games. The coach, Scott Brooks, had this to say: "I was not going to take him out. I don't care how many times he looked at me fatigued. He has enough, and I think all of our guys have enough to play. You just have to fight through it." Thanks to that decision, OKC was able to make it to the finals. Some of those games have amazing comebacks, whether it's the Cavs or OKC. But this, it has to be the biggest comeback in NBA playoff history. In 2019, the 31-point comeback in the LA Clippers versus Golden State Warriors game. It looked like the Clippers were done. I mean, the Warriors had Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. The Warriors were the 2-time defending champions and had already won their first game against the Clippers. They were sitting comfortably with a score of 94-63 in the third quarter. The Warriors had the game in the bag, until they didn't. The Clippers came back and went absolutely insane. Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell were the big contributors as the Clippers scored 85 points in the second half, outscoring the Warriors 72-37 in 19.5 minutes to take back the lead and go home with the win. Harrell went a perfect 9 for 9, finishing with 25 points and 10 rebounds. Williams scored 36 points and had 11 assists in the epic 31-point comeback win. Unfortunately, the Clippers still lost the series. Man, the NBA playoffs are something else. There are so many moments that leave us in awe and make us believe in the power of the underdog. I hope everyone can take notes from the underdogs. Never give up in the face of adversity. You don't know what can happen. So from the amazing comeback of the Clippers to the shocking win of the 8th seeded Miami Heat, these were some of the biggest playoff history.